Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm so excited to see you here. You all look so beautiful and wonderful. Thank you for making your way all the way out here. My name is Catherine Cespedes. I go by Kat, and I will be your host this evening, and I am honored to be your host this evening. We have a powerful lineup for you this evening, and echoes. We have a great power-up for you guys, and I can't wait to experience it with you and to see what you guys feel like afterwards, so please stick around so we can have a conversation. If you are watching online, we feel your energy. Please let us know where you're commenting from. This way I can answer you later on this evening. So, I know that we were having some issues with the mic earlier. We're okay, never mind. Never mind, all is well. This evening we have Kinney Dye on stage, and she is just absolutely amazing. Yes. Every time I share the stage with her, I feel so energized and so ready and so pumped and so powered up. So thank you, Kinney, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's give her a round of applause.
Sitting on an old trail, no one passing by. No one's there to hear me as I cry. And all the birds are singing, taunting me with songs as I'm lying hopeless, dead and gone in nowhere. You're not here, and I know pieces of the earth, life that's fallen down to find rebirth. Reaching towards the sunlight, trying to escape, to live beyond the rubble and the shade and the light. It finds a way to keep growing and always change. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on, and I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. We were never promised a life without some pain. Even sunny skies send us rain. And all that we've been given is for us to choose what we want and what we've got to do. And I'm nowhere that I'm not meant to be. And I see it. I see my relief. And I'm running free. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on. And I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on. I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, 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 run. Just run free. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, run, run. Just run free. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, my goodness, I'm sweating, and I try to stay like sitting down so that I wouldn't get so hot. But every time. All right. So, thank you. Do you feel powered up? Because I already feel powered up. Ah, okay. All right. We'll get there. It's okay. So, before we start, we always like to start with a good grounding prayer, affirmative prayer. And today we have the wonderful Audra Nicole, who's here. She is part of the PCC Council members here for the practitioners, and she's also leading up the Next Gen retreat. So if you want more information about that, I know that Sammy's here and Audra's here, so please ask them questions. It's an amazing retreat, and I can't wait to go for the first time. And with all that being said, please help me give her a warm welcome to Miss Audra Nicole.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. You might not be powered up yet, but I felt that, Kimmy. Thank you. All right, guys. You know how we do. Let's breathe it in together, shall we? Take a deep breath in together. Let me hear it on the exhale. One last time, in together. Grounding in deep right here and right now. into this precious, precious moment. What a gift, what an honor, what a blessing it is to stop on a Wednesday night and power up, connect, and rejoice. Leaning into the serenity of the unity, for that is all that there is. Witnessing the presence in and through all things. Knowing that Spirit is the one trueness, the power and the force of nature. Moving in and through all things, creating them all the same, as the same energy of true power and magic. Knowing that the walls of the room are pure spirit. The things that we can touch and the things that we can taste are just as magical as life itself. Knowing that Spirit is all that is the ever-expanding greatness, I know that I too am the place that Spirit is. I too am an expression of the one divine. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here. I know that each one here is divinity in form, that each breath is God's breath. Knowing their magnificence, I am overjoyed. And I know that tonight is pure magic, perfection in action. Coming together with such a powerful group of people who are so committed to living and loving each one of us into greatness through their own authentic expression. I know that tonight the perfect words are said, for what needs to be heard is heard. That what is ready to be released is revealed. For this and so much more, let's get this started.
Thank you, Audra. So, there is a reason why you guys decided to keep your divine appointment and come here this evening. So I appreciate that, and thank you so much for making it. And something, right? A little voice whispered in your ear or in your heart, wherever it whispers to come here this evening. So you got into your car after work and you decided to drive over to Seaside. You could be anywhere this evening, but you made it here. So I want to go within so that we can discover what our intention is for this evening. So we're going to lower the lights. We're going to have Jim noodle a little bit. And we're going to slowly go within to reflect and share our intentions for this evening. Slowly coming back into the room, coming back into the space. Welcome. Together we will share our intentions for this evening. You can share whatever came up for you. You can shout it out, you can yell it out, you can jump up and say it. Whatever works for you. For me, it was playfulness. Don't know what it is, but I'm down. Perspective. Sweetness. Abundance. Progress. Joyfulness. Love. All right. So for all those intentions, said and unsaid, for all of you who are watching, together we say, and so it is. So I'm pretty sure you guys all know why we're here and who you're here to see, but I'm gonna introduce her because I think she's awesome. We have Dr. Julie Beaton here. She is an enthusiastic educator, parent, a chemist, and metaphysician. Her ability to translate esoteric knowledge into practical information is profoundly effective. She has spent much of her life dedicated to the spiritual world and has a deep desire to share this knowledge in service to others. Through a variety of methods, Dr. Beaton helps her clients uncover their own unique spiritual path. She will show you how to practically bring spirituality deeper into your daily life. Yeah. In addition to her PhD in chemistry, the woman is a genius. Dr. Beaton is a Reiki master and well-versed in holistic healthcare, religious science, the work of Edgar Cayce, animal medicine, and theories of reincarnation. She also works with the angelic realms. So we are so lucky and we are so glad to have her here at Seaside. Help me give a warm and loving welcome to Dr. Julie Beaton.
Hello, welcome. Nice to see you all here. Brief, is this too loud? Is this good sound? Okay. A brief introduction to me and what brings me joy. Science, esoteric science, creativity, fun, love, all of these things bring me joy. I'm guessing bring you joy as well. That creative flow, working with the magic of the universe. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Before I get started, I just wanted to know who in this room has heard of human design? Just with a show of hands. Excellent. Oh, that's excellent. Who has had a human design reading? Oh, excellent. Okay, so we will address all of that. Okay, let's get that. We got this. Go up to go back. We got this. Thank you. Oh, that's way too much. But we went too far. Okay, we got this. Oh, go back. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Okay. 2, one more. Wait. Wait for it. Okay. Yay. But there's actually one more before that. Okay, we got this. Okay, there we go. Yay. Thank you for that enthusiasm. I didn't do it. Okay, shh, stay there. So this is just an outline of what we're going to talk about today. I didn't touch it. Oh. Oh, and okay, we'll stay there. All right, we got this. The magic of the universe in action, right? Okay. Well, the first slide, if it was there, is just an outline of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the joy of being you, of being yourself. Okay. And we're going to start with the cosmos. That's the slide you had a preview of. And we are really all stardust, right? That's what we really are. We are golden. Ooh, okay. Am I going to do it, or are you guys going to do it? All right, we got this. Okay. Okay. So we are good. This is the outline. The cosmos. Then we're going to talk about what it is like to be incarnate in human form in these bodies and what that all means. And we're going to talk about passenger consciousness and the examples of how the planets affect us. And, of course, joy. And then we're going to look at a real-life example. And in that example, I'm not going to reveal who it is until the very end, just to have some more fun. So I'm going to switch slides, hopefully. Okay, the cosmos. So we are all from the stars, made from the planets. We really live in a matrix, a divine matrix, a field of energy. This field of energy is non-local, it's holographic, meaning every part of itself is a reflection of every other part. So we're really all connected. And this matrix can act like a container, it can act like a bridge, and it can act like a mirror. What is life showing us? That's where many of our lessons lie. Our DNA in our body, which is what we're really going to talk about, really connects us to this information field. And all of our DNA is connected. We are really united. We are one species. And your DNA and my DNA, when we can bring it to the highest frequency, we really affect humanity. And that's a nice goal, right? So we always just want to feel joyous and be the best that we can be. The way we communicate with this matrix, the language of communication, is really the language of emotions. Emotions are charged, and the matrix is often appears to us in a charged form. Now, if we bring this into human design terms, there's a man who brought forth the human design paradigm. His name was Ra Uru Hu. And in 1987, he talked about the neutrino, a very, very small particle, infinitesimal mass, essentially. And in 1998, scientists said, yes, in fact, this particle does have mass. I see some people here are like human designers. Yeah, I got that. It's cool. So the point of the neutrino is it's the most abundant particle in space. And because it has infinitesimal mass, it actually carries information. So, for example, the neutrino will go through the planet Mars. It will get affected by Mars, but it's small enough to then be absorbed into, to pass through things. So it's what makes us. We have neutrinos going through Mars, neutrinos going through Jupiter and Venus, through the sun, and that's really what we are. We're literally made from the cosmos. We are stardust. Okay, so now I'm going to change slides, see what happens. Okay, all right, so this is an example of a 9-centered representation of the human being. And on the outer wheel, they're the hexagrams of the I Ching. The I Ching is the Chinese Book of Changes, ancient wisdom. There's 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, and there's 64 codons in the human genetic code. So we have the ancient science and the modern science coming together as a way to really understand ourselves. The other thing you can see in the inner circle are representations of the planets. So again, the neutrinos go through the planets and make us. And so this is an example of a body graph. Now in this example, the white centers are turquoise. Normally they should be white, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But what I do want to talk about from this slide is before we're born, when we're on the, let's say, the other side of the veil, we're really genderless, perhaps opinionless. We are not separate. Once we come into our bodies, we get this, I'm over here, you're over there, we all have these different ideas, and we think we're separate. What happens is, we come into form, and our head, which is the top triangle, it's a little bit hard to see in that slide, but it's the top of the what I'm calling the body graph, and that's where our personality crystal resides. And our design crystal, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit, is in our mind. And in the center of the graph, if you can see it, it's the fourth center down. It's a diamond center. That is where the magnetic monopole resides. And that's like the driver of the vehicle. And again, Ra Uru Hu, the gentleman who brought this in, was talking about a magnetic monopole, a magnet with only one pole that only attracts one way. He was talking about that years before science was able to actually measure and determine that, yes, there's such a thing as a magnetic monopole. But this magnetic monopole drives the vehicle, and it also holds us in the illusion that we're separate. It keeps us there. And that is really just an illusion. We're really all one, right? We are not, we're a brotherhood, we're a sisterhood. We're at one with the cosmos. But as we walk around in these bodies and these minds of ours, really make us think we're very separate. So, I'm going to change slides. Fingers crossed. Okay. And here is something that makes me laugh and makes me really think about how we are truly separate and how we are. It's really an illusionary world, right? If you think about it, just the fact that we're all sitting here on a Wednesday night in 2018 in California, wow. I mean, that's a lot, right? To just get us here in these bodies and all of these things that are in this room. We could say everything we see in this room is an illusion. And on the other side of that illusion. So if we look at that, in this slide, if we look at that room with all the squares, it's the holodeck. We can make it anything we want. And on the other side of that, the gentleman controlling, we could look at as our higher selves, right? And if we're in touch with our higher selves, well, that illusion is not as stark, is not as drastic, and we can have a connection, and we can really think about the things that really matter, not the density of what we sometimes refer to as the third dimension, right? There's more to it. In addition to the fact that we really are a brotherhood and a sisterhood, the other thing we can always think about, or a famous quote from ancient times, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so is the soul. And again, just remembering that brings us together, brings us out of that illusion that we are separate. So now, I'm going to change slides. Okay. In human design speak, we talk about passenger consciousness. If you recall, we have a personality crystal, the top of our head, and a design crystal that resides in our mind. If we translate that to this slide, this limousine, we say the personality, who we think we are, is designed, is meant to sit in the backseat of that limousine. And our body is really like the limousine. Our mind is not to drive the car. Our fears are not to drive the car. Someone else's opinions are certainly not meant to drive the car. But we talked about the magnetic monopole. That is actually the driver. And that magnetic monopole, on the one hand, holds us in the illusion that we're separate. On the other hand, brings us to our destiny. It's like the cable car in San Francisco, and it just hooks us up. And we access the driver through what we talk about in human design as strategy and authority. And I will talk a little bit more about that when we go into an example. But the real key, because again, we're here to think about joy, right? What is joy? Joy is really being ourselves. Joy is sitting in the backseat of that limousine with all of our accoutrements, our food and our beverages and our crystals and our essential oils and everything that we love, and not let our minds get in the way of that, and to look out the window and really be a witness. What's going on out there? Does it make us happy? Does it make us sad? Does it make us angry? All of that's fine, but it shouldn't affect the sanctity of the back seat of this beautiful limousine. Yeah? These two ladies in the front are nodding. I like it. I like it. So again, it's about observing what's in front of us. And if it does trigger us, well, there's something for us to learn. And then our higher self on the other side of the holodeck is truly joyous, because when our soul learns the lessons that it's really designed to learn, oh, there's nothing better, right? Then we truly are joyous creatures. Okay, so now, changing slides. All right, so this is a beautiful picture of all the planets. And again, here's the neutrinos going through all the different planets, making us. 70% of the neutrino stream comes through the sun and the earth. And again, I will talk about that in more detail. But for example, when it goes through Venus, and we can read it in a human design body graph, Venus shows us what we value. Jupiter shows us what our personal laws are. Mercury shows us what we like to communicate about. The moon shows us what emotionally drives us. So the planets really give us a lot of information. And when we really are in that limousine, in that body, not letting our mind control everything, we are not living in a world of blame. We're not living in a world of shame or guilt. We're living in our power. We're living in our car, in the back of our car, and I mean that in the limousine sense. And we really can transcend some of these cloudy ideas that our minds are really good at. Because really, when we think about human design and think about how we are made, the divine mind or intelligent mind does not want us to be stressed out, does not want us to be oppressed or confused. The mind is not really designed for that. The mind is there to inspire other people and talk about things and reflect, but it's not meant to drive the vehicle, and it's not meant to drive us crazy. That is not the goal. So the other thing human design gives us is a joy about being ourselves and really understanding how to make decisions as ourselves, not from fear, not from pressure. And of course, now I'm going to give you a picture of joy. That's joyous, right? I mean, it just makes us happy. And I mean, we went through several pictures, and this one is nice because they have chocolate in their mouth. They've made a mistake. It happens, right? But it's okay. And certainly our soul is happy when we learn from those mistakes, right? We carry on, let's move that conveyor belt on. So now I'm going to change again, and I am going to go through an example of a body graph. And I'm not going to tell you who this is, except that it's a male, and he's still alive. And in the end, I will tell you who it is. Now, the first thing I want to point out is all the centers that are turquoise in this graph should be white. Ra, if he was here, would be like, no, they are white. It's just the way the slide came out. It's a beautiful color, but all of those centers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are turquoise, like I said, they should be white, which means they're open. They're not defined. They are a place where this being has the potential to learn. The places that are colored in, or what we say defined, is what that person brings to the room. So each and every one of us has centers that are colored in or defined. We condition the room. Ideally, we condition it with our best frequency, not our shadow frequency. And we get conditioned through our open centers. And we learn. We learn very often about what we're not. So many lessons there. And as long as we can keep our mind just up there, not confused with the rest of our body, we can let that limousine just have a grand old life. But when the mind gets in the way, lots of troubles can happen. Now, if you can see in this graph, the head sticks out, and that's true in every body graph, emphasizing, again, the head and the mind is meant for the other. Our body consciousness is where the wisdom lies, is where our decision-making comes from. We'll talk about that in a moment, but before we do, I just want to point out that in an earlier slide, I talked about the personality crystal at the top and the design crystal at the second triangle. We see all the information from the personality crystal, the column on the right, the black. It's who we think we are. It's what we relate to about ourselves. We have a second set of numbers from the design crystal on the right in red, and that's our genetic inheritance. And unlike traditional astrology, we're looking at a binary. We're looking at a potential. We're looking at two things. And one thing we often say in human design is these two parts of ourselves, the personality and the design, they don't always get along. It's like a forced marriage. The greatest love affair we could ever have with ourselves or in this life is with these two parts of ourselves, because we know we are walking contradictions sometimes. We know that. And when we can kind of remember that our higher self is on the other side of that holodeck, and this is all part of the master plan, it's easier. We're less stressed, more peaceful, more satisfied. So, what do I want to say next? Okay, this person that we're looking at is what we call, there are 4 types in human design, and this person is a generator. Many people are generators, so it is the most populated type. And we get that because the center, which is one up from the bottom, which is a red square in this design, is defined. And that means that this person, and many of us, have consistent access to this life force energy. And it's all about responding to things. Does this work for you? Uh-huh. Does this work for you? Uh-uh. And it's a response that's kind of below the belly button. It's not in the mind. It's, is this correct for me? It's an energetic question and answer. And as a generator, this person is meant to respond to life. A challenge for many is patience. Waiting to see what shows up outside the view of your limousine that's correct for you. Not every scene is right for you, but your body knows. Your body, your cells have infinite intelligence. And when we can quiet the mind, we really have a lot of power. And we can transcend guilt, blame, shame, stress, anxiety, fear. We can learn from some of those things. I don't think we can ever really learn from guilt, but we can certainly learn from fear and anxiety, right? So the person here, as a generator, and I know there are many in this room that are generators, are, as they respond to life and really, are grounded in their bodies and not in their heads, their aura naturally brings the right situations to them. So it's always about being patient, observing, and watching the energy. See what shows up. Is it right for you? Maybe. Your body knows. Your mind doesn't. This being is what we call an emotional being. Half of the population are emotional beings, and the other half of us, well, we live with them. the point about emotions, we all have them. We just have different ways of dealing with them. Just like we all have heads, even if our head is undefined, we still have one. It just has different properties. But this being emotional, emotions travel in a wave. So at any one moment, this person is up on their wave, everything is fabulous. Yes, I'm going to say yes to everything. And they wake up in the morning, they're down on their wave, and they're like, what did I say? So, advice for any emotional being is to give yourself the gift of time before you say yes to anything. Because we always get more clarity about the emotional wave as it's further along. So this being is meant to respond over time. Now, the other thing about this chart that's interesting is he has what we call a 4-6 profile. And we get the 4 from the personality, we get the 6 from the design in this graph. And this profile is like a costume. You can have one of 12 profiles. And this costume that this being has is that of an opportunist role model. So it's all about finding the right time, the right opportunity to share what they have. And there's a tension for fourth line beings because they want to have authentic connection, but they also need to be observing. They also need to wait when to share. And again, the more we're in our bodies, the more we recognize we're meant to sit in that back of the limousine and see what is going on and not be all overwhelmed with our minds, overwhelmed with our fears, overwhelmed with other people's fears, but really, really being present. This being has the potential to lead by example, to be that role model. So I'm just going to take you through the sun, the earth, and the moon in this chart, just to give you an idea of just how incredibly accurate human design is. Because why not, right? It's joyous. Okay, so in this man's personality sun, which we find the top entry on the right, personality, black, he has it in the 39th gate of provocation. So this person is always looking to provoke the spirit out of other people. That's their job, that's their goal, that's what they're looking for. This is a very individual, creative energy. It's very dynamic. The ultimate goal is liberation of the spirit, right? That's the ultimate goal for all of us. And this being, a role model, is there looking to provoke the spirit out of all of us. Now, the one thing about human design is there's so many things, there's so many details. And I'm going to just, if you will indulge me in this one thing, because it's interesting. So this 39th gate that he has is present on the root center, which is the center on the bottom, the brown center. He has that defined, so he has consistent access to, or a consistent way of dealing with the stresses and pressures of the world. So he's got this desire to provoke, and this provocation, this 39th gate, is really looking to the other side of that gate, which is the 55th gate. And this 55th gate, I'm taking a moment to talk about it. He doesn't have it defined, but it's very relevant in his chart. This 55th gate is the gate of spirit. It's an emotional gate, and here we're talking about spirit as a matter of abundance. So let's think about it for a minute. We have a cup. Is the cup half empty? Is the cup half full? Well, it really depends on your mood, right? It really depends on how you feel. But if we can just sidestep that and just say, isn't it magical that we can just talk about the cup at all? That's really where spirit lies. And this being releases tension in his design by looking for the spirit in others, by provoking the spirit out of others. And this 55th gate is fascinating because it is the place where humanity is evolving, We are evolving in our emotional awareness of each other, of the fact that we're not separate, that if you hurt, I hurt, if you are feeling wonderful, I am feeling wonderful. I mean, that's really ideal, right? That is the goal. It doesn't often happen, but that is the goal. So, the thing that grounds us is the earth, right? We know that. So this gentleman, earth, personality earth, comes in also the defined root center. So again, he is very grounded and has a consistent way of dealing with his pressures. And this gate, this 38th gate, is the gate of struggle. It's the gate of fighting. It's the gate of opposition. So this being must love what he struggles for. He grounds himself when he struggles to provoke the right spirit out of people. When we think about these gates, we can think about the shadow and we can think about higher frequencies. And a higher frequency of struggle is honor. Honor is really a dynamic energy field. When we honor each other, it's joyous. When we honor ourselves, when we're authentic, it's joyous. And when we can honor someone, when we can look at someone with the highest frequency possible and honor them, even if their frequency doesn't match what we're projecting on them, we've achieved something. We've achieved this ability to live as one, to live in a joyous way. So this being has the potential to bring in the higher frequencies and liberate the spirit with honor. Now, like everything, life is contradictory, life has tension, life has two things going on. So the juxtaposition, the thing that really, makes us all work a little harder at being ourselves perhaps, can be found in the next two entries on the design side, the red column. His design sun comes in the 21st gate. And that gate is found in that little triangle in the middle of the design. And that is called the will. It can also be called the ego. And it can also be called the divine will. Because when we surrender to our own divinity, or the divinity of the universe, we are overcoming any interference that we might feel. We are, again, not feeling so separate. This 21st gate that he has is all about control. It's about controlling where you live, controlling what you eat, controlling what you wear. It really matters to him. And when he doesn't have to, if he cannot control these things in his environment, the power of his divine will cannot be fulfilled. So they're laughing. They're just laughing. Okay, good. Okay. Joy is good. Joy is good. So this being has an incredible ability to come from his heart and inspire love, inspire loyalty from others. Or, like any potential, he could not come from his will, not inspire others, and be very angry that he's being controlled. So again, both potentials are possible. Now, this ability that he has, this 21st gate, is quite fascinating because he has it, each gate can have one of 6 lines. And he has it in the line of chaos. And for him, it's the continuing legitimate action in the hope of eventually surrendering despite all odds and increasing disorder. So again, surrendering to divine will. No matter what is going on around us, we can surrender to the joy of being ourselves, to the joy of our unity, of our lack of separateness. All of this is grounded for him on this gate of depth, this 48th gate that he has. It's on the left, on the triangle on the left, which is open. It's turquoise in this slide, but it's open. And this center is our oldest awareness center. It's all about survival. So since he has it open, he could either be overwhelmed by all the fears that humanity has about survival, or he can grow very wise about the fears that rule humanity. Again, we always have a choice. But this is somebody who is very grounded by his wisdom, very grounded by his depth. And this wisdom is so natural in him that he really only sees it when someone asks it out of him. If you can see this 48th gate on the left, it's not connected to his voice. So he can't go there and just start spouting his wisdom. People around him need to ask. And that's when he really sees how much wisdom is within his being. So many people with that 48th gate don't know how wise they are till someone asks them a question. Wow, I didn't know I knew that. That's typically what happens with that gate. It's very deep. And it's also about not repressing fear, not reacting to fear, but really being patient, being that generator, sitting and waiting like an oyster with a pearl. The longer you wait, I don't want to say the longer you wait, but when you wait the appropriate amount of time, the beauty of the pearl, like the beauty of wisdom, comes out. So we don't have to force it with our ego or our willpower. We can just be who we are, like this being, just be who he is, be a role model, be in tune with the divine will, and transmute any lower frequencies so he can be of service, because really that is his ultimate goal. So now I also want to look at the moon, because the placement of our moon in our body graphs tells us what drives us emotionally. So this being, he has the 40th gate, so it's the third down on the right, 40th gate of aloneness. So but aloneness is a good thing, right? He has both ends of the channel, so don't worry. He also has a lot of friendship too. But aloneness is like it's like the point between struggle and liberation. It's about really being in that sacred space so you really know who you are, away from the noise, away from the stresses. So he is driven to be alone. He is driven, we could say, to meditate, to be in his space, to really understand who he is. And within all of that, he also has the power to reject negative relationships. And that is how he's equipped. That is how he's made. That is what the cosmos did for this graph. Now, the other placement of his moon, which we find in the design side, is the second gate. And that is, I don't know if you can see because it's far away, but it's on that diamond center. And if you recall, I talked about that diamond center before, the place of the driver of the vehicle, the magnetic monopole. It's the sternum. It's where the heart lies. It's the place that holds us in the illusion of our separateness so we can keep going in this life to achieve wholeness, I guess would be one way to look at it. So this being has this second gate in the moon, so he is emotionally driven towards higher knowing, because that's what this gate is all about. Receptive information coming in. Because again, when we're alone and when we're quiet and when the fears of our own fears or the fears of the world are low, we can really get in touch with our higher selves, that being on the other side of the holodeck directing things. We want to have a good communication there. This second gate is really good at that. Now, I just want to point out something. This person has the second gate. Not everybody does, but we all share the 64 gates. We're all a collective. So at one point or time or another, we can get in touch with that second gate of higher knowing, that receptivity. The shadow part of this is feeling that we're not connected, feeling that we're not in the flow. So we can either be in touch with our higher selves, or we can be disconnected from the universe and feel very alone. The other thing about this second gate, it has to do with mineral magnetism. It has to do with creating a magnetic attraction field around us. So this being is very magnetic. This being has an ability to live harmoniously, harmonically, in an enlightened state of awareness. And again, the more we all tap into that higher knowing, the more we connect with our higher selves, the more magnetic we are. The more our aura can interact with this electromagnetic power. Again, this being is highly intuitive. And I will just say one more thing. I know that I just want to say one more thing about him. He has Mercury coming in the 12th gate. And the 12th gate is all about social caution. And it actually comes in the line of the prophet, the voice in the wilderness. So that's my final hint as to who this could be. But we can also say he has an open head. It's not colored in, right? So he is potentially open to infinite inspiration coming into his being. He is somebody who has the potential to live a life of courage and valor, to live the middle way, not too extreme, to really be in touch with the divine will, live with oneness and unity. Okay, so with all of that, I have more to say, but first, are there any questions? Oh, no, I have no time. We're done. Questions later, okay? Okay.
I guess you forgot to go to the next slide, so I'm just gonna go up there so that we can have a nice wrap up. That was interesting, and I love being down there because I got to hear all your whispers about who you think it is, and I know who it is, but I'm not gonna tell you because I was sworn to secrecy. So, thank you so much, Julie, for that. We're gonna kind of go through this because we're running a little bit close to time. I'm going to introduce our wonderful practitioner for the evening so that she can wrap it up with a beautiful spiritual mind treatment.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you, Dr. Beaton. Yes. 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 Feeling how true words are, and in their truth, how they resonate in our bones, as evidence of the unity of the one divine in and through all things. Knowing the one and my expression as it, and each of us here. Knowing that tonight was perfect in so many ways. A glorious space together in learning and expanding and growing, raising our vibrations individually and collectively as we expand ourselves to be more, to have more, to do more of that which is ours in our deepest, most truest way. That thing that floods us with joy, the place that we can touch joy and be joy. and this and so much more. I am so grateful to everyone and everything that made this powerful evening possible. I am so grateful to the cosmos and their perfect divine order that allowed each of us to be here today in form. I'm so grateful for all of the miracles that have already happened, those rapidly approaching and those yet to be born, for this and so much more. And knowing the power of this word, I know that as it is spoken, it is already done, so I rest, relax, and release, set it free, so that together we can say, and so it is.
With my eyes closed and my heart exposed, I feel my breath lift to my chest. I am alive. With my eyes closed and my heart exposed, I feel my breath lift to my chest. I am alive. Alive in body, alive in mind, alive in heart, alive inside. I feel my breath lift my chest. I am alive. With my eyes closed and my heart exposed, I feel my breath lift to my chest. I am alive. Alive in body, alive in mind, alive in heart, alive inside. I feel my breath lift to my chest. I am alive. I feel my breath lift my chest. I am alive.
Beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
That was beautiful, Kenny. So this would typically be the section where we do a Q&A, but we've run out of time. So if you're online and you're watching, go ahead and submit those questions. I will get back to you afterwards. And for the rest of us that are actually here physically, it's not over. You know, as soon as this is done, we can meet in the family room, have some cookies, ask your questions there. Kenny has a table, and she will be selling her CDs and her music, so please support her. And Dr. Beaton will be here as well. Right? So, now we get to find out who she's been talking about this whole night. And I just want to say, it's kind of funny because I've been down there and I've heard them, and I kind of want to say what I've heard, but I'll tell you in a little bit. So please help me welcome Dr. Beaton for our call to action.
Okay, call to action. So the person we were talking about was the Dalai Lama, Tibetan monk, was all about compassion, all about human rights, all about freedom, liberation. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. Did anyone know it that didn't know it, so to speak? Yeah, well done. And the other thing about him, was all about nonviolent struggle for the liberation of Tibet, but he also loved science, quantum physics, cosmology, Buddhist ways. He's a pretty cool dude. And his chart really he really embodied his chart and the highest version. The meditation helps. Okay, call to action. Here we go. So, and here you can see the white of the centers that I was talking about was in turquoise before. But the call to action, so go back out in the world. But remember, your body is a limousine. Your mind's not driving the car. You sit in the back seat, bring all your joyous greatness in that back seat, interact, observe what causes you joy outside of that car, what causes you joy within your own being. And of course, to quote the Dalai Lama, be kind whenever possible. It's always possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kat. Okay, thank you all. Thank you, John. Okay, thank you.
Hey, hello, you can hear me now. So I am going to ask Audra to come up on stage to help me with the offering. This is the space where we thank this center, this space, for giving us this opportunity, for giving us this venue, for giving us this space so that we can come here tonight. I ask that you bring your offering to your heart, and I'm going to have Audra do our blessing.
Holding your gift close to your heart. Knowing that as we give, so we receive, and that is not why we give, but the law of nature itself. Knowing that this gift is evidence of our abundance, stewardship in its truest form, giving grace and gratitude to God, to Spirit, to universe, for all that unfolds in our individual lives and in this beautiful community together, with grace and love, and so it is.
So it is. So together we say the affirmation that's up on the screen. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life, and so it is.
This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy. I give it in love. I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life, and so it is.
So, for our time of gratitude, I just wanted to thank each and every single one of you for being here. It is such an honor to be here and see your beautiful faces. So thank you for sharing your laughs, your love, your kindness, your consciousness. It really does mean a lot to everyone here. We put so much effort to making this happen. So a round of applause to yourselves. Also, I want to thank Ed Reeves, who is on sound this evening. Thank you so much. We have Tim and Gregory, who are doing our live stream. Thank you, Tim and Gregory. We have Sharon De Leon, who has been holding the light, holding the space this entire evening. Thank you, Sharon. We have Mr. Jim Bianchi, who has been on the piano this whole evening.
Thank you, Kat.
we have the wonderful Miss Kinney Dye with her beautiful voice, her beautiful spirit, her beautiful energy. Thank you so much, Kinney. Thank you, John Beaton, who's been recording, who's been here this entire evening. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you for watching online. So if you're watching from New York, last week I saw North Carolina. There was also Rancho Bernardo. Someone was watching from Mexico. He's here now. Thank you so much. New York City, Ithaca. There's Kevin. There's Waleska in Yucaipa. Daniel, he's watching from Rancho Bernardo. If I missed your name, make sure that you comment, and I'll get you next week. Thank you so much. We feel your consciousness from here. Thank you. And of course, I did not forget, thank you so much, Dr. Julie Beaton, for your energy, your explanation, and everything that you brought to us this evening. Oh, there's one more thank you. Thank you, Tracy. If it wasn't for Tracy, we wouldn't have very much presentations because I would be going crazy doing it by myself. So thank you so much, Tracy. Oh, and she's waving around the flyers. All right, so last thing, and then I promise you I'm gonna, we're gonna dance and have fun and all the rest of the stuff. First of all, are you feeling powered up? Yeah. All right, I like that one. That felt good for me. Okay, so what we did was that we created flyers so that each one of us can take flyers to wherever you already go. Does anybody drink coffee? No, raise your hand if you drink coffee. Okay, so take some flyers. Does anybody go to yoga studios? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right, you take some flyers. Does anybody breathe air? Go ahead, raise your hand. You should all be raising your hand. Go ahead and take some flyers. And the reason why I say that is because we need support. And that support comes from you. And I am here actively asking you for your help. I love doing this. I love having Power Up happen. And I love the way the conversations end up in the family room. I love having those conversations, and I'm pretty sure you love being here because you show up on a Wednesday evening, on a weeknight. So in order to continue having these Wednesday night power-ups, we need support. So this is all I'm asking for. Go out there, support in that way. Tracy, who has the flyers in her hands, and if this is too scary for you, which it shouldn't be, but if it is, there's also Facebook. Like, share, comment, actively supporting. This way we can make this happen. This way, this is already happening. This is already here. All we've got to do is spread the word, right? So how many of you think that there's someone in your life who could have benefited from this evening? Raise your hand. Yeah, there you go. Take some flyers. You give them the flyer, they show up. We have Wednesday night for a couple more months. Because at this point, I need help. And if there's anything else that you want to do, if you want to help with lighting, if you want to help with the live stream, if you want to help with flyers, if you want to help with Facebook, I'm here. Come, help me. All right? I appreciate you. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your consciousness. And I appreciate you for just raising your hand and showing up. That was enough for me. But take some flyers. Yay. So what are we going to do? Wait, hold on. Take some flyers. Okay, so what are we going to do? All right, so Kinney Dye on the stage for our congregational song. Go ahead and stand up for our last song this evening.
Everything I need, I have within me. I will be joy. I will be peace. I will be love. Everything I need, I have within me. Everything I need, I have within me.
So one more time.
Everything
I will
joy. I will be peace. I will be love. Everything I need I have within me. Everything I need I have within me. Everything I need I have within me. All right, yeah.
Hello, hey, hey, hey. All right, so that was your power up. Thank you so much for being here. Meet us in the family room for cookies and tea. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
We are the power. We are powered up. We are ready. We have the power to be the change that we seek in the world we want to be in, to live free, and we are powered up. We are the power. We are powered up. We are powered. We are powered up. We are ready. We are powered up. We are able. We are powered up. We are willing. We are powered up. We are ready. We are powered up. We are powered up. We are powered up. We are powered up.